book. Abraham had every intention in the world of doing what God said because he believed God. Brothers, we can only be the men, the fathers, the husbands that God wants us to be by listening to God, entrusting our valuables to God, and abiding in God's will for our life. We can't run our own program. And so Abraham's a friend of God. He's a friend of God. Why? Simply because he believed God. Because after everything is said and done, belief is what's going on. And your behavior will dictate what you believe. Jesus said, if you love me, you keep my commandments. So it doesn't matter what you say. What are you doing? The last stunner that crossed the lead, D, is depend. Depend on him for the solution. Don't try to figure out how God is going to work this out. That's God's problem. Ours is to run the play. It's not the sinner's problem. The guard, the tackle, the tight end, the running back. It's the coach's job to figure out what play will work. That's God's job. We depend on God for the solution. Belief will bring the provision that is necessary. Back to the text. The angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. So he said, here I am. Notice, in all of this, Abraham has not stopped doing what? Listening? He's still listening. Man, I will be listening too. Lord, oh man, say something, God. Say something. And he's still listening. But he's also still entrusting. And he's also still abiding. As he's also still entrusting. As he's also still listening. As he has never stopped entrusting. Because he's still abiding. All three are working in one as he now is depending. In other words, I have no idea how God is going to work this out. But God told me I will be the father of many nations. God told me my seed will be as the stars in the sky. I believe God. Now my only son, he's asking me to offer him up. How God keeps his word, I don't know, but I'm trusting him. And I'm depending on him. Back to the text. And he said in the 12th verse, do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son from me. Then Abraham lifted his eyes.